Hello everyone, this is FoxyPapaSmurf, or FPS Gamer for short. Let's talk Halo 3 Anniversary. So first of all, what do we know? So far, not a whole lot, but I do have 10 reasons why I think a Halo 3 Anniversary may be coming to the Xbox One. Reason number 1. 2017 marks the 10-year anniversary of Halo 3. That's right, if you can believe it, it has been almost 10 years since the release of one of the most critically acclaimed entries into the Halo franchise. Kept with the traditional gameplay elements that were existent in the previous two Halo titles, but it brought in a whole bunch of extra features. Things like Theater Mode, Forge, a new ranking system, DLC, online campaign play, a lot of elements that were very well received by the community. Number 2, because of these reasons, it is the best-selling Halo ever. The best-selling Halo. More than Halo 5, more than Halo 4, obviously, even more than Halo 2. Not only was this the best-selling Halo game, but it was the second best-selling game on the Xbox 360, one of the most popular consoles ever to hit the market, only being outsold by GTA 5. Technically, it was also outsold by Kinect Sports or whatever game came with a Kinect, but I don't really count that. 343 Industries would literally have to hate making money in order for them to justify not making Halo 3 Anniversary. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want to see this happen, but don't worry, we'll get to your concerns in just a minute. But number 2 is that it will definitely make them money. Number 3, Project Scorpio is coming out next year around the same time. Now, obviously, they've been swearing up and down that this is not a new console generation, that the Scorpio and Xbox One will play hand in hand. Any games you can buy on one, you can also play on the other. So I'm not saying Halo 3 Anniversary will be an exclusive to the Scorpio, but maybe they'll do some kind of bundle or some exclusive DLC or some other content if you buy a Scorpio with Halo 3 Anniversary. And they used Halo 3 previously to push Xbox 360s, and it worked. Reason number 4, they did a remake or an anniversary edition of Halo CE. They did an anniversary edition of Halo 2. It would really only make sense for them to do Halo 3. Now, of course, the argument is that Halo 3 still, to this day, looks really good, and while that is subjective, I will admit that the gap between Halo 2 and 3 was probably the most notable between all of the Halos. That's not to say that it couldn't stand to receive an upgrade in the graphics department, especially when it comes to the faces. So those could definitely do for an upgrade. Number 5, 343 has gotten into the habit of doing a new edition every year to the Halo franchise. 2014 was MCC, 2015 was Halo 5, 2016 was supposed to be Halo Wars 2, but that got pushed back to 2017. It would make sense that they had Halo 3 Anniversary slotted for a 2017 release, obviously to coincide with its 10-year anniversary. Number 6, probably the least important on this list, but at least worth mentioning, are terminals. Now, terminals were introduced into the Halo 3 campaign. I don't know if a lot of you remember that, but after that, they continued to add terminals into the existing Halos, and it would just be really interesting to see them add it into Halo 3. They did it with Halo CE Anniversary and Halo 2 Anniversary. It would be interesting to see some sort of story come to fruition in Halo 3 alongside the existing terminals. Number 7, it would breathe much needed life into the Master Chief Collection. Now, obviously, Halo 5 is their pride and joy at the moment, but you can't ignore the fact that Master Chief Collection exists, and I'll get more into this in just a moment. I think if they were to do a Halo 3 Anniversary, I don't think it would be a standalone game. I think it would come out as part of DLC for Master Chief Collection, much like Halo 3 ODST did. Number 8, it would bring refinement to Master Chief Collection. Having that much attention on the game would push the developers to refine it. There's still plenty of bugs, plenty of little quirks and matchmaking issues and lag and latency, and hopefully a big update would come alongside the incorporation of Halo 3 Anniversary. Number 9, and for some people this is a really big deal, there's the potential to see Halo 3 on PC. Now, if this is part of the Master Chief Collection, this is obviously very unlikely, but if it's its own standalone game, Microsoft has been making a big push toward incorporating both the PC and the Xbox communities, making them kind of a conglomerate, so you can play together, game share. When you buy one edition of the game on one platform, you get it for free on the other, and obviously Halo being a first-party game, it would stand to reason you could play it on PC. And my goodness, has there been an outcry from the community for Halo 3 to be on the PC ever since it was released. But I know plenty of people out there that kind of drifted away from Halo after that because they were PC gamers but still really appreciated the Halo franchise. Number 10, and this one obviously is subjective, but I think this would be a really quick and easy way to get the community back on 343's side. Ever since Master Chief Collection, and you could even say possibly ever since Halo 4, the community hasn't really liked 343. They've kind of been hated by us, and honestly, for good reason. They've really done wrong by the community on a number of occasions. They redeemed themselves a little bit with Halo 5. They really outdid themselves with Forge Mode. Tom French, I love you. You're my hero. I have a statue of you in my closet made out of chewed bubblegum. This could really help their view of 343 if they do a really good job of making Anniversary Edition of Halo 3. So what could an Anniversary Edition of Halo 3 include? Well, let's think about it. We talked about the inclusion of PC. That would be really cool. That would only really apply if Halo 3 Anniversary was a standalone game and not part of Master Chief Collection, which I don't think would be the case. The revamped textures and the shading and the whole slew of graphical improvements that come alongside the Anniversary treatment. The cutscenes by Blur. Oh my goodness, guys. Were those cutscenes amazing in Halo 2? I would have bought Master Chief Collection just for those. Honestly, wow, those were amazing. But if you think about it, Halo 3 also had amazing cinematics. The scope of Halo 3 was so much bigger than Halo 2. Could you imagine dropping down onto the Ark, that scene with the Pelicans, the scene of the Installation 4B, I believe it was, rising out of the Ark? Could you imagine those cutscenes done by Blur? Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. Another thing that would be cool is 5 remastered maps done by Certain Affinity. I don't know what engine that would run on. We'll get to that in a minute. But much like Halo 2 received 5 and eventually 6 remade maps done by Certain Affinity, I would like to see 5 classic Halo 3 maps. And there are loads of good Halo 3 maps. I think Halo 3 had the highest concentration of just really, really good maps. Super easy to pick 5 ones that would make their way into an Anniversary Edition. Another possible feature would be Forza Horizon or Halo 5 exclusive content, maybe weapon skins or car designs, some content that would go across to the other first-party games done by Microsoft. That'd be kind of cool. Another feature that may make it in, possibly Halo 3 ODST. I can't see there being a huge demand for there being an ODST-only Anniversary Edition. I don't know. We'll talk about that in just a moment. An updated Forge, possibly. I keep saying we're going to talk about these things, but I just kind of want to skim over them real quick. More armor options for multiplayer, or for Halo 5 maybe. Bring like Hayabusa and all the Halo 3 armors that people love, the katanas and all that garbage. And the Halo 3 soundtrack remastered. I bought the original Halo 2 one, and I bought the Halo 2 Anniversary remastered soundtrack, and both are amazing, and I still listen to both of them. So there's a ton of really good potential, a lot of things that could come with the Halo 3 Anniversary Edition. There's some questions, though. I kept saying we'll get back to that. This is where we're going to talk about all this. Is this going to be free, or is this going to cost money? If it's going to cost money, how much is it going to cost? I don't see this being free. I think 343 is done apologizing for Master Chief Collection. I don't think this is going to be free. I think it's going to cost money. I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $40. I can't see them charging a full price for the game. Much like Halo CE Anniversary, I believe, was $20 when it came out, which is, I mean, honestly, that's a pretty fair price. I would definitely pay for that. If the maps were remade, what engine would they use for the multiplayer? Would they continue with the same engine they used for Halo Reach, Halo 4, Halo 2 Anniversary? Those all used essentially the same engine, obviously updated and reworked with each iteration, but would it run off that same old engine, or would it run off the newer Halo 5 engine, and what kind of changes would happen if it ran off the Halo 5 engine? Interesting to think about. Halo 3 ODST, would they include the remastered campaign for ODST? The reason I say this is that Halo 3 and Halo 3 ODST use the same assets. I don't know a whole lot about game design, but I do know enough to know that the same assets and the same engine was used to make Halo 3 ODST that was used to make Halo 3. That's why ODST was able to get accomplished so quickly. They didn't have to really develop from the ground up. So making a remastered Halo 3 would stand to reason that a remastered Halo 3 ODST would be fairly easy to do. And of course, I say that knowing full well that I don't know the complexities of of reworking those textures, and it would really be the only way ODST would ever see an Anniversary Edition. And if they did include ODST, there's a possibility of there finally being firefight, like legitimate firefight. Not Warzone firefight, not the ridiculous Spartan Ops garbage that was in Halo 4. I'm talking about firefight. We had it in Halo 3 ODST, we had it in Halo Reach, and we never saw it again. Now, we talked about this briefly. Would this be a standalone game, or would it be DLC for Master Chief Collection? I am inclined to think it would be an addition to Master Chief Collection. The infrastructure, the UI, and everything is already there. It would have to be reworked a little bit to include the Anniversary Edition of Halo 3, but I honestly can't see them selling yet another game, physical game, because the Xbox One is somewhat backwards compatible. It can play Halo 3 natively, and Master Chief Collection, you have it there, and now you have it again in Anniversary Edition. I don't see them selling yet a third version of the same game. I simply see them adding on the Anniversary Edition to the existing Halo 3 and Master Chief Collection through a purchasable DLC, if that's a real word. PC. Would this be on the PC? Would I play it if it was on the PC? Abso-freaking-lutely. That would be amazing. And those of you that have been following me for a little while know that I recently built my own PC, and that would be incredible. And unfortunately, that Halo Online project never really took off, but it was the closest that the community has ever got to seeing Halo 3 on the PC. It essentially used the Halo 3 engine, even had Halo 3 maps that were just a little bit reworked. Halo 3 on the PC would be cool, however, I don't think it would happen, simply because I think it's going to come out as part of the Master Chief Collection. It would just make sense. You have Halo CE Anniversary, Halo 2, Halo 2 Anniversary, and Halo 3 and Halo 3 Anniversary. Finally, probably the biggest question for myself and also the largest portion of my community, and that is Forge. Forge was a huge part of Halo 3. If they did do Forge, it would make sense they would do Forge for the Halo 3 reworked maps by Certain Affinity. It just makes sense. They had it for Halo 2 Anniversary. But would it continue with the mechanics of the existing Forge, or would it be the Halo 5 Forge, which is wildly different? The answer to that question, I think, is very, very likely that they would continue with the Halo 5 mechanics, and for that reason, I think the Halo 5 engine would be most likely the driving force behind the reworked multiplayer maps. I think it will be very similar, if not identical, to the existing Halo 5 Forge. And to be able to forge on those Halo 3 maps with the tools that we have now in Halo 5 would be a dream of all dreams. If for those of you that were there 10 years ago or 9 years ago, you can sympathize with the patience that was required to make even the simplest creations in Forge in Halo 3. I highly doubt they would go back to the previous Forge controls and just the Forge mechanics of previous games, because a lot of us, myself included, had to completely rework our minds. We had been forging for years with largely the same controls, and then have them completely reworked in Halo 5, and for good reason. The controls are much, much, much better. Again, Tom French, I love you. You are my idol. It was a really steep learning curve, though. I really doubt they would go back to the existing Forge mechanics. That's about all the content I can think of. Of course, the million-dollar question, should they even do a Halo 3 Anniversary? If you phrase it, would I buy it? Yes. I think everyone would buy it. Maybe not everyone, but most people would buy it. It was just such an iconic part of the Halo franchise. I really can't imagine them not doing it, but we'll see. I mean, maybe there's an unforeseen reason why they wouldn't do it. Most notably, the only reason I can think of why they wouldn't do it is because of Master Chief Collection. It's really unlikely they would sell it as its own standalone game. That wouldn't make much sense. But with the negative connotation that Master Chief Collection has, it would have been really, really cool. And to its credit, the way it is now, it mostly works. It's good. And honestly, I went back and I played through the Halo 2 campaign not too long ago. You can watch that video right here. It does work mostly, and maybe if they bring Halo 3 Anniversary into it, it would bring back some of that community. It would get the matchmaking times down because people would be online playing and more people would see, hey, Master Chief Collection is actually working, and the community would stick a little bit. I hope they do it. I really do hope they do it. I know some people don't But I want to know what you guys think. Should 343 do a Halo 3 anniversary? Go ahead and answer this poll in the top right of the video and share this video. I want a lot of people to answer this poll. I want to get a sense of what the community wants. And leave comments down below. I'm sure I missed some stuff. Maybe there's some huge barriers in the way. Maybe there's some other added benefits that I missed. Leave it in the comments below. Let's start a little bit of a discussion. Thanks guys so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I'm sorry I have been playing Halo 5 a lot, and going back to Halo 3 to record some gameplay for this video was painful, and that's entirely my fault. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, take the poll, and share, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.